As one who came up through the road racing ranks, I always figured that oval racing couldn't be all that tough. I mean, it's just four corners, right? Well, believe me, nothing could be further from the truth. Racing on ovals requires a new set of skills and a totally different mindset.
The toughest thing with ovals, number one, to adapt to is the speed. The cars are extremely fast on the ovals, and while people's perception of Indy cars that they're easy to drive on the ovals, I can assure anybody that they're not. When we get into the race mode and you get 25 cars around you, there's a lot of people, and really there's no air that runs over the cars.
You know, oval racing's a lot different than a road course racing. And I still learn this every day, is the fact that on a road course, in any car, whether it's a Cup car, whether it was my Atlantic car, my Champ car, whether it's a Grand Am DP car, on a road course, if the car's not there, the driver can make a big difference. He can still get a little bit more out of it. Maybe brake a little later, roll a little bit more speed through the corners, just be a little bit more aggressive. When you're on an oval, in a way, you got what you got, especially in an open wheel car, because the line from being loose and being in the wall to just having to just take what the car's giving you, it's right there. And that's something that to me was tough, because I was always a guy that took pride in taking a car that maybe wasn't as good and just kind of grabbing it by the steering wheel and getting more out of it.
You know, a lot of people have tried, and it normally ends up being kind of painful. So it's, I mean, you can certainly carry it to a certain extent, but over a race distance it's incredibly difficult. And typically if you're trying to carry a loose race car on an oval, or even a car that has excessive understeer or push, you typically are not going to win the race anyway. So you want to do everything in your power to make sure that you have a race car that's well balanced and you know, it's very strong over a race distance.
Yeah, it's a tough thing on an oval to find out where the limit is, because as you say, you do get it wrong. There's no runoff, there's no second chances on an oval, so a lot of the time it's better to approach it from the cautious side and build up gradually.
On a road course, you can charge all the time, you can run every lap as if it's qualifying, but on the ovals, you certainly have to take it back a notch in order to make it to the end, because it is extremely easy to make a mistake.
A lot of the situational awareness is with the help of your spotter, because really, with most cars now, with the high cockpit surrounds, when anything's past here behind you, you can't see. You can't see it. You can't see to the side, you can't certainly see behind, and the mirrors only cover so much area. So you've really got to work with your spotter on it. You've got to build a trust with the people you're racing against. You learn the ones that you can run that far apart with, and you learn the ones that you don't want to go anywhere near because they're going to do something stupid.
First time I drove on an oval feels really strange, because you have to hold the wheel really tight in a straight line to keep it straight. If you let go of the wheel, the car just turns left. It's a little bit daunting in the beginning, because you get to the corner and the car just wants to go. And if you're on a road course, you'd think the thing was spinning out.
At my very first test in an Indy car, I crashed and rung my bell pretty good. So starting with the very first time I ever drove on an oval, it always sent that message of patience, and you have to make the right moves, because it's too easy to make a mistake, and when it happens, there's no small accident on an oval. It doesn't matter what you do, it all hurts.
Funny, Max Pappas and I were talking the other day about our first oval race back in 1997 at Homestead, and we were told, you know, you can't drive an Indy car on the oval with oversteer. And he said he was following me, and I was getting more and more oversteer, more and more, and he's thinking, oh wow, that's pretty, you know, that's kind of not what they said. And the next thing I slammed the thing at the wall. So they were right and we were wrong, but we thought we knew better. But yeah, again, you build up that experience, and sometimes you just screw up as well. Sometimes you set the car up with too much oversteer in the thing and it catches you out.
The big thing is setup. You know, oval racing is a huge engineering exercise. There's so much fine detail in setting up a car for an oval, and you're no longer dealing with just a front end and a rear end of the car. You're dealing with 4 individual corners of the car, which you set up each individually. We'll change just a left front spring, and we'll just change a right rear spring or a right rear damper setting, and so you're dealing with a lot more settings on the car, cross weight.
Generally, if the car's not right, we'll have several things that we can adjust. We've got the weight jackers that we use on the ovals, that we can change weight from the right front to the left front, or whichever way. We'll have the bars. If you run bars to that specific track, we can adjust front and rear dampers. So, you know, if you need a little more front grip, you can change that, or rear grip, you can change that. and of course wings. Under pit stops, air pressures, people in Formula cars don't, on road courses don't necessarily experience this, but a quarter of a pound of tire pressure, air, will make a ton of a difference on an oval.
Please pit this lap, Scott. They pit this lap. We'll get ready.
On an oval car, you definitely qualify a totally different setup to a race setup for an oval car. When you qualify an oval car, you're absolutely on the edge, and the car is set up to be almost perfect balance. And the drivers sometimes call it riding on the rubber. You're relying on the grip of a brand new set of tires to get you through those 5 or 6 laps. And then as the tire performance degrades, there's no way you'd be able to drive a qualifying car on an oval for an extended period of time. So for a race on an oval, then you're setting the car up to be, it's got to be fast, but it's also got to be comfortable in traffic. You've got to be able to run beside people, dive underneath people, all that kind of thing. It's totally different to a qualifying type setup.